Hello and welcome to another episode. We're in double digits and we're well into double digits of episodes. I mean we're at like at least 12 or 13. So yay, congratulations for us. Welcome to Brew Babes podcast. Here with me today is the beautiful, wonderful event goddess and my beer life mate, Kat Jones. Kat, how are you today?
I'm so good. Hanging out today at Southern Lights. May the 4th be with you.
Awesome. Yes, today is May the 4th. It is Star Wars Day, although by the time I get done editing, it's going to be past Cinco de Mayo. So we'll be on the 6th.
Just think
But
light speed ahead, and
right, speed
we'll be fine.
and then also with us today, because she is not too busy for us this week, is the absolutely wonderful and gorgeous, my beer soul sister, Taylor Woods. How are you doing today?
I'm doing so well. Glad to be here with you all today. And yes, happy May the 4th and Cinco de Mayo and Seis de Mayo and all the beer celebrating holidays.
All of the DeMayos and Star Wars. Just happy all of them.
Happy May.
Yes. So I had some, I went and saw Taylor. I saw our girl today, this week on Friday at Sky Puppy. It was an amazing event. I did record my face going into Sky Puppy for the first time. I will put that out because I did promise Kat that I would do that. It is absolutely gorgeous in there. The pictures do not do it justice. I had a fantastic beer and I left, I got to talk to Taylor for a while and I got to see all the other vendors, which is a fantastic event. And I actually left a little bit early because Taylor was just so busy at her table with some customers giving astrology readings that I just was like, you know what? Like, I'm just going to let our girl do her thing. So,
Yeah.
Taylor, how was the rest of the event? Because I only was there for like the first hour.
Yeah, it was good. It was in comparison to previous events where I'm kind of inside the brewery. So this event, there's an alley behind Sky Puppy and a courtyard. So for this event, we had more vendors and everyone was in the alley and the courtyard, as well as a tattoo artist in the brewery and a couple vendors inside. So it was beautiful. Got to bond with a lot of the vendors. I didn't do as many readings as I typically do there, but they were all really like enriching conversations with just very present and beautiful full moon. Perfect. I mean, I love being there.
This was actually the show that I wanted to do a few weeks ago, but I did want all three opinions on this, so we'll have to wait for her to come back to get into that.
That's okay.
But Kat, how was your week this week?
Week was good. Week was solid. The rain was actually really refreshing. We've been in quite a drought here in sunny St. Pete for quite some time. So it was really refreshing. I was very productive and went to a couple different breweries this week and just working on collabs for our 6-year anniversary party. So
Yes, that's
good to be.
exciting.
I'm going to all of the different, when we do, obviously I want to be in studio with you guys more often, but
Yeah.
it's giving me an opportunity to go to different breweries. And so I'm very excited to be here with my boys today at Southern Lights and
That
Abby. She'll show up later, I'm sure. The gentlemen's and Abigail. I'm drinking
So
a tall boy Pilsner on the side.
I love that. I was going to go out this morning because Reef Donkey is on sale. Everybody knows that's my go-to. When all else fails, grab a Reef Donkey because the Reef Donkeys
Absolutely.
never failed me.
Sure.
Because I was taking one of my sons to work and he works at Publix. So it made sense. And then he didn't need a ride this morning. And all of a sudden I'm coming into the studio and I'm like, oh crap,
No, I don't have a beer.
that means I didn't go and get my beer. So I am beerless today.
I'm sorry. Fearless is a terrible
I
thing
know
to be.
it's quite sad actually.
Quite
I'm
sad.
very sad about it, but I had an exciting week because we had the soft opening of Unrefined in Dunedin.
Yeah. Well, that was this weekend. Tell me all about it.
It was such a I only got to be there Thursday because I work at a couple other breweries and we didn't know we were going to be able to open that quickly. So like nobody was really expecting to open till like this week or next week. So I was already working this weekend at some other places or I would have taken some time off to be there more, but I got to be there on Thursday and oh my gosh, did people who love Unrefined and just people who live in Dunedin show up. we were at standing
So
room
exciting.
only most of the night. So, and everybody was there. So, like there's 4 beer tenders and we were all there because we were all kind of training and learning how to work together because, well, no, we will never have a time where all 4 of us are behind one bar, but getting that experience to be able to work together was really cool. And honestly, it was I can't say enough good things about the girls that are gonna be working behind the bar with me, Tommy and Tony and Gordon and all of them that own the place, and then
Such good people. Yeah.
such
And there's a
great
whole
people.
that's a whole unit. There are
Yes.
multiple people on that place, and you'd think that sometimes that can cause a lot of friction and shit. They are very, very organized, and, oh, man, I'm so excited for them. So where exactly is it? What's it next to,
Okay,
like, in
so
Dunedin?
it's on Monroe and Alternate 19, like that corner. So Monroe is where you turn to get into the entrance of the parking garage. So there's but they would be that first building if you were on Alt 19. So there's the parking garage, then there's the big HOB patio, and then the building that Unrefined is in.
Oh, that's awesome. That's such
We
a good location.
actually Yeah, it's a great location. And then we do have a manager, Dan, who is fantastic. And they were just so you can work at some places where they're just like, hey, here's the manual and this is what we expect. And then you can work at some places where they're like, hey, this is truly a team. And hey, what do you guys think of this? What do you think of this? What do you think of
Yeah.
this event? Hey, if we put this rack over here, is that going to help you or is it going to help you over there? And we all got taken around the building and the 4 of us, they were like, hey, let's figure this out together, which I value that so much. I always joke that I'm a terrible employee, but I'm the best team member you're going to have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why are you a terrible employee? What are you
Yeah,
talking?
no. But no, because I'm a great team member and I'm always like going above and beyond for the team. And to just see that from day one, again, for me was amazing. And then to see so much love and so many people come in for that first night. And then they stayed busy the whole weekend. I was not there. We all, we're in a text chat like, we just kicked 5 kegs. And, I mean, it's just amazing. So thank
Yeah, Tarpon's
everybody.
a little bit slower speed than Dunedin too, so I think there'll be, what a great opportunity for them to make more beer and sell more beer and for us to drink more beer.
Yeah. No. And, so that was really great. It was a great experience. It was a great weekend. I was at Commerce on Saturday for the Kentucky and I had the Kentucky Derby on. People don't realize this about me because I have a back condition, so I can't ride anymore, but I love horses. And I grew up around horses and I absolutely love them. So I do love to watch the Derby. This is like a big thing for me. And if you have not seen my video yet that I've posted about some funny interactions with a customer, you should go and do that. I had a customer that asked if there was a rain delay at the Derby because of the storms in Tampa. So that was fun to try to explain how weather works. In locations. But no, it's a fun story. And then on Sunday, I was over at Emerald Coast and we had F1 was on, which is another big thing in Florida. I don't think people realize, like, if you're a transplant here, if you're not a Florida, like, native, you don't realize how important the Derby is to Florida because
Yeah.
Ocala is like the horse
Oh, it's
mecca
insane.
of the
Yeah.
world.
Like, my cousins, like, they never miss it, and I'm not really I love horses, I think they're beautiful, but I don't not my sports, just in general, I think, are not my vibe. We had game 7 this weekend, and Tampa Bay playing, hockey stick puck game with the hockey just for those of you guys that don't know, hockey is the one with the fighting. Yes.
The sanctioned fighting.
Yeah, and sticks.
Yeah. So 12 of the Derby horses are actually from Ocala, so that was kind of cool. One of the
That's cool.
jockeys.
I
Yeah,
love
so it
that.
was cool. Yeah, and so that's a big thing. Yes, and we had hockey this weekend. People left very sad after the hockey game. The puck stick game did not go our
Stick
way.
games. I know.
The sports ball of the Tampa Bay Rays did go our way. So we've got sports ball.
We knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, we knocked it out of the park in the sports ball. So that was all cool, and we dominated the Derby because that's what Florida does. So, yep, I'm done. Yeah, so those were all really cool, and F1 was in Miami. So this is
Yeah.
I didn't make a video about this story because I figured we could talk about it on here, but I did have another fun interaction with another customer because F1 in St. Pete is huge, and you know that. Like the
Yeah.
Grand Prix
Don't
is a
mess
huge,
around.
yeah. And it already
That's the
happened. The
one with
Grand
the
Prix already
cars that
happened.
go zooms. Yep.
Yes, the cars that go zoom.
Yep.
So, and that happened in Miami. And I was talking about how the Kentucky Derby and who won. And this customer goes, "Oh, they have a Kentucky Derby in St. Pete." And I stopped for a second because I don't know of any horse tracks in St. Pete. I've never heard of horses racing around in St. Pete. And he goes, "Yeah, yeah. I think it's called the Grand Prix." And I was like, "Oh, no, those are cars." And he goes, "It's not a car. It's a Formula One racer." And I was like, "But it's not a horse." Yes, it is. It is a Formula One racer,
Listen,
but it's
I'm
not
the
a
first to
Kentucky
tell you,
Derby.
sports are confusing. Okay, sports are real confusing.
Yes. So we had horsepower and horses. Those were not
Horsepower
the
and
same thing.
horses.
And we had rain
And
here,
here
but it
we
did
were
not
just
rain
horsing
in Kentucky.
around.
In the rain. In the rain. That did not cause any delays to anybody else anywhere else. But it was good. We needed the rain. I was happy to see it. So that was really cool because we have had also fires. So having a little rain to maybe not have so many chances of some wildfires is awesome. Um, you have the numbers, the barrel numbers
The
that we
numbers.
talked about last week.
I have the
So
numbers.
Kat did a little beer math for us. If you missed last week's episode, we talked about the 50 top craft breweries in the nation, according to the National Brewers Association. Again, most of those we felt were legit. There was one that I thought was maybe not so legit. Looking at you, Monster. But we we defined craft beer. The Brewers Association defines craft beer as under 6 million barrels. And then
That's two
also
sets of zeros. I mean, like two sets of three zeros.
you have 3 zeros, and then it has to
Checking.
be majority individually owned. But you did some math for us
I didn't do any
based.
math. I totally cheated and I just copied down some notes. There's no math involved.
No
One of
math.
the many reasons I cannot be a brewer. I'm not a mathy person. Sports, math, not my vibe. Beer, Star
Absolutely.
Wars, being a cutie patootie, that's my vibe. All right. So this is, by the way, if you haven't checked out Southern Lights, just tell you, if you haven't checked out Southern Lights, they're ridiculous. And one of the ridiculous things that they do is they make custom coasters, which I will be taking this one home. Thank you, Kirby. Uh, and yeah, I think actually Mike Better probably printed this. But anyway, I didn't have sheet paper, so I wrote down my notes here. We're kind of going to break down different types of breweries. Obviously, we talked about not craft breweries and finding breweries last year. And that 6 million number that we discussed is what we would consider to be a regional craft brewery. Just to name a few off the top of my head, we've got Golden Road and Elysians. I'm sure Wicked Green probably falls under that. Bigger guys, potentially owned by InBev or Constellation or any of those other macro businesses. But yeah, so a regional brewery is considered to be 15,000 barrels to 6 million barrels of beer per year. A micro craft brewery is considered to be 15,000 barrels or less. And just a little bit of beer maths for you, wonderful human listening. 1 barrel is 31 gallons, to kind of put that into perspective for you. So we've got a regional brewery, a microbrewery, and then you've got what we call a nano brewery, which before we got on today's call, we were kind of giggling about. Pretty much everybody at this point is a nano brewery. And these
Is
numbers
nano.
are obviously they're coming from a reliable source. They're coming from the Brewers Association. A nano brewery is considered anything that is 1,500, so 1,500 barrels beer or less per year. Once you
So,
hit
and
that number, then you can get a microbrewery status.
microbrewery. We've graduated to micro.
I,
No, a nano. Yeah. So, and to put that into perspective, there are 386 active craft beer licenses in the state of Florida, and 87% of them are under 1,000 barrels. So they still have barrels to go, and they could still be nano. And most of the small breweries, when I say under 1,000, they're not even at 1,000. We're talking 500, 600, and then there's even smaller, very local ones. Some of the ones we have in downtown Newport Richey are at like 200 barrels. So they're going to be in nano, maybe even their entire existence. But it is the math on because we both laughed when we heard 6 million barrels. Like, you're still a craft brewery at 6 million barrels, and we both laughed,
So
but I
fun.
don't think people realize why we were laughing.
Yeah. I didn't. And
Because
so I was like, okay, so how much, like, let's just take Anheuser-Busch. Like, I was like, that's funny, but like, how many barrels does Anheuser-Busch actually produce annually? And I looked it up. So I was like, my mind was blown away. 16 million
I thought you said
barrels.
billion with a B.
The billion would be
Billion with a
billion.
B, because you did tell us before we got
And I
on.
was like, what? That doesn't even make sense. There's so much beer, but we drink a lot of beer. So what are we
Oh,
gonna do?
drown it.
What are we gonna do?
Taylor is back.
Hi, Taylor.
Hello, my
Hello.
dear.
Hopefully I'm here for a bit.
Hopefully you're
Fingers
here to
crossed.
stay. I love that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So everybody, basically what we've established is everybody in Florida, except for maybe like 10 breweries, are nano breweries. They may never even graduate to microbrewery.
Maybe not.
And yeah, and when you compare 6 million, like when craft beer has to be 6 million or under, but then when you compare it to like a 6 million seems like ridiculous. That's such a huge number. But then you hear Anheuser-Busch is 16 billion. So you're like, well, I mean, guess
You're
they're
making me so
still
nervous right now. Like I want to go fact check myself to make sure, but like we'll put it in the comments underneath if I got my B's and
yeah.
M's mixed up. But like either way, it's ridiculous. So let's just say it's a million. It's 16 million, right? That's still ridiculous. So,
No,
but I don't
I
think so. I think it is.
actually I know it is not 16 million, and I know that because I was in the House committee meeting 2 years
Oh,
ago
that's it.
for in Florida, because Anheuser-Busch does brew some beer in Florida, and the legislative sponsor, Representative Yeager, did say that just in Florida, Anheuser-Busch brews 358 million barrels of beer. So
And
that's
that's
just in
What are
Florida.
we doing? We gotta buy
and
more
that's
tanks, you
cool
guys.
for
We
like the
gotta buy
Right?
average.
more tanks. We gotta get on a rotation. We need to hire brewers.
Yeah.
We need to train
Put 'em all out
brewers.
there.
I might just enroll in the USF program.
There you
We all
go.
we're all just gonna enroll. I mean, and I've looked at like a 90 barrel, because we all like tour these facilities every time we go. And the
Yeah,
biggest system that I've seen is a 90 barrel system, and it's freaking huge.
it's like just massive.
Like, it's an impressive large, like a huge warehouse. These things look like just about skyscrapers when you're looking at the all the things. And I
What
mean,
a what a beautiful, like, if you get a chance to go to any brewery of any size, please just ask them if you can just like peek in and see their bar system. Even cooler if you get somebody who will like take you on a tour, and they have tours set up at large places, RIT Bob Lorber, and his tour guide, Cigar City career. Shout out to you, baby.
we love Bob Lorber.
There was literally like when I worked for a larger brewery, they were going to hire someone just to do tours and stuff. And there are jobs out there where you can just be the tour guide of
Yeah.
places. But because it's so cool, again, 90 barrel systems are insane. And one of the first breweries I worked for, like I didn't understand how large our system was. And I didn't understand the automation behind it. And like being on a 4 vessel system instead of a 2 vessel system and having just like, we had one head brewer, and then we had 2 assistant brewers, and then we had other brewers underneath them that were training to be assistant brewers. So like you can have a huge team and make all of this beer, or you can be on, my sweet little Tofty boy down in at Sun Labs right now, who's working on a 2 vessel 15 barrel system and doing it all pretty much by himself. And Athens, my coworker Athens, is helping him now. But like there's just and then you have you guys are whatever brewery you work for at the moment, Dick. You can pick one to talk about. They're a lot of like it's a small team and they're flipping it as quick as they can flip it, and it's still not enough. And you still got to have guest taps at that point.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I think even learning the big system, because if you started off as a home brewer, that's such a learning curve to even know how to
Absolutely.
utilize those things and scale up like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think some of the home, like, when you start out as a home brewer and
Mhm.
then, like, even, like, a 3-barrel system looks like a daunting task to scale up, because normally a home brewer system is, I think it's like 65 liters, which is basically just above a half barrel. So, you go from brewing about a half barrel at a time to now 3 barrels. That's a huge jump. And 3 barrels is like nothing compared to some of these
Um,
bigger breweries. Like some of the ones that we would consider still very small, but bigger systems are still only on like a 6 or 10 barrel system.
Oh, 100%. And like, even we're only on a 15-barrel system, so, and the place that I worked for that had 4 vessels, they were 30 barrels, but there was 4 of them. So they could, hypothetically, you can just keep making it. It's like having multiple loads of laundry going at once. That's how I say that. You go into a laundromat instead of, doing it at home with just one system. We have to continue to flip, and it's laundry is an all day process. When you go, you can get it all done at once.
Yeah. Yes, and yeah, even some of the bigger breweries, I work at Commerce, which is contract brewery. I think they're on a 30-barrel system, and they're brewing large amounts for other brands. So, yeah, like, to again, I only saw a 90-barrel system one time, and it was like like, I was, like, enamored with how big this system was. So, like, I couldn't even
Impressive.
imagine. Yeah, millions of
So
barrels, like,
impressive.
that's craziness. That is absolute, like,
Girl,
for
don't even get me talking about an automated canning line. I will nerd out right now. They're so cool. So I the technology to run one, I don't know, but
So we were in this committee meeting that I was telling you about, where Representative Yeager talked about the 358 million barrels for Budweiser. But someone went to speak, and it was one of the Tallahassee breweries, and she's like, "We have a 2-can canner, so we can can 2 at a time." And I was like, "Oh, girl, that's big. That's double what we can do, because we're 1 can at a time."
I can't.
One
Perspective. Perspective. Absolutely. Absolutely.
and there's something just very meditative about the whole process.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, and I did an interview with Amy Perino from Florida Avenue, and there's breweries even in the Tampa Bay area. Like, I couldn't even imagine some of the breweries that I work at needing a manager of the lab, of a chemist, a bioengineer, so that even that is a step up, which is still not even close to like Budweiser, but needing that chemist and all that, and the schooling that goes into it. Like, beer is like, it's not just like, "Oh, I'm just gonna throw some stuff in some water and, like, hope it goes well." Like, it is a legit, like, serious business, and it takes a lot of skill, a lot of training, all of that to do all that. So, I'm always in awe of the people who can make the beer, because it is not something that I will ever, ever do.
It is a very
Same.
tasty, hard science for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm so like, I'll take the sports. Like, I'll talk to anyone about the derby, but, like, don't get me on science. Like, the sciencey stuff, like, no, 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 I checked out. I probably could learn it. I don't want to.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, I mean,
there's
I could
people.
learn algebra. I'm not putting it past me, but I'm not gonna.
I'm not going to. So, but in that, the training, and this is something that I actually feel very strongly about. And I know me and Taylor have sometimes talked about this. So I do have some very specific feelings on, and I know we go back and forth, because I know, Kat, you've said this even last week. You said if a bartender's having a bad day, then that can throw everything off, and a customer could have a bad experience, not come back. Feel like terminology in beer, we say glassware matters. I feel like terminology in beer should matter also. As someone who is a professional who does do a lot to study it, obviously we've talked on here about all these different benchmarks and things like that, and all the different brews and all that. And I want to get your guys' opinion, because I hate the term bartender. I am a trained bartender. I went to bartending school. Like I actually had someone come in because I had a bartending company, mobile bartending, and I had someone come in and actually literally one teacher teach all of us in on our property. But I've done the bartending school. I've also done beer school. Like I've done the Cicerone training. I continue to do it. I take tests and things like that. So I feel like those terms being interchangeable to me kind of diminishes what each one of them means. And I do feel like we're in a profession, like I'm a professional. I'm not
Sure.
someone that's just standing there pouring a beer like they are in a restaurant or a server or something. I'm not a server. I take my job very seriously. I take the product very seriously. I learn about it. I want to do it correctly. And to me, that terminology matters to me. And I want to know like how you guys feel about the terms the beer tender versus bartender, or and I like people who haven't been trained in either one. I'd prefer to call them a server. But okay, that's my little soapbox because that it matters to me. But I do want to hear your guys' opinion.
Go for it, Tay. Before we lose you
All
again, I
right.
want you.
I've bartended and I currently beer tend, and I do think they are a difference. I will correct someone when they say bartender. I'm a beer tender. And I think they
Mhm.
both have really phenomenal skills that are very
Yes.
different. I am impressed by bartenders because you have so much memory. You have to keep, like, know all the recipes to things all the time. Just in the back of your head, you have so many cocktails back there, and it's mostly cocktailing or shots.
Mhm.
But I think it's all encompassing, and then when it comes to beer tending, it's like or beer bartending is like kind of, all the tricks. You can do it all really quick and like, how to do it. But beer tending is more, I don't know, like integrative, kind of just like, the depth of the beer and you can kind of
Mhm.
break down the profile of something and give someone what they want. It's kind of like you seek into them, like, what do you like? And let me give you what I want based off of these concoctions of different fermented beverages I have versus bartending. I even get them mixed up in talking, but bartending is like, how to make all the different things. And it's just kind of quick recipeing. But that's a huge skill too, to remember every little ingredient that goes into it. But those are the differences I see. And I identify as a beer tender, not a bartender. And I like the nuances of giving someone a flavor they want versus like when you're a bartender, you just, okay, tell me what you want and I'll make it real quick and I'll give it to you,
Yeah.
which mad respect. But yeah, I like the depth that comes with beer tending when you really take it on.
I
All
love that.
right, Kat.
What a good
Where
perspective.
are you at?
I couldn't agree more. I like to think I'm a positive person overall. I do have my days, as we all do. But I was talking with my cousin once. I went up to Illinois, where that side of my family lives, and she and I were just catching up about life. And she's what we all know or would be considered as a career bartender. She's been bartending for 20 plus years. She's never gonna not bartend. She loves it. She loves her people. She works at a kind of like a blues lodge. It's a little bit different up there, but because it's the Midwest, same kind of concept. Like she works at a really kind of like really fun, super community driven dive bar. She many, many times in that conversation said, "Oh, I'm just a bartender. Oh, I just do this. I just do that." I think that anybody in any job that you have, no matter what your job is, you should never just say, "I'm just a."
Mhm.
Um,
I agree with
I
that.
don't. I just don't. I think it devalues what you can do. And being a person who is behind a bar, we are so many things, including sometimes therapists or high fivers or taking care of people, playing babysitter, in good ways and in negative ways. We take care of our people in our community through all the good times and all the bad times. But when you talk about the difference between bartending and beer tending, I think it's very similar to what I would say a mixologist versus
Mhm.
a bartender or a sommelier versus a bartender. Um, Beer tender, I think, is looked at as an easier job. Well, I don't have to know everything I need to know as a bartender because I don't serve alcohol here. I can just be a beer tender. And I think that's a negative approach about it. And I would love to have I would love to inspire the same enthusiasm within our beer community and places that serve beer to say, I'm a beer tender. And that means I have extra knowledge about beer because it is really hard to learn all the drinks you have to learn as a bartender Oh my God. Even if you really enjoy alcohol and you think things taste well together, when you go into mixology, it's just, I've watched the YouTubes, I've read the books, like they are on a whole nother level that
Yep.
I failed to be on that level for beer. Right. So when I can share my knowledge, I love to do that and hopefully inspire people to get excited and learn more. But I think that a lot of bartenders use beer tending as a cop out. So I will die on that hill because it's just, we don't have alcohol. So it's just beer tending. So, we don't have to learn that much. But to that point, being in distribution and being in sales on both sides of those markets, if I went to a bar, whether that's a very busy bar or whether that's a mixology bar or what have you, the amount of knowledge that most bartenders, and this is a generalization, because we do have superstar beer loving bartenders out there, they don't care about beer and often wine
Right.
unless they are mixologists and then they're already going that far that they want to be impressive and have a better understanding of things and value and appreciate like specific education. Um, but then you go to places like high volume and it's like a mixologist may not do well at a high volume bar. So it's all different levels and all of it is important and all of it is valid. Even if you're just slinging beer at a dive bar that only serves beer, like you should at least know what you're serving so you can help the person have a better experience. People are out here spending their hard-earned money. We should have a good experience about it. So I don't know. I don't get offended when people call me a bartender. I will get offended if they say just a bartender.
Yeah. If someone were to say just before any of
Never,
it,
no.
I would be so I don't I tend to understand that people not in the industry don't like understand the nuances. So I never get upset when people use certain terminology, but I look at it almost like the same way that like I have a certification to be a small business consultant. There's a ASBC, I can put it after my name, and that just signifies that I've done the work to
Right.
be certified in this. I've done the work to be the expert. And I feel like because of there is so much, and I think that the public looks at, oh, you're just serving drinks. It is so much more intense than that when you're bartending. It is so much more intense than that when you're working at a brewery because you do need to know the beers. We talk all the time to our customers about the history of that beer, what hops go in it, the profile of it. I know I just had a customer that I normally see in Newport Richie that came over into Dunedin, and I'm like, oh, this is the beer you're gonna like because it has the same hop profile is a similar hot profile, so this is what you're going to like. And that's why they always come wherever I'm working. So I think that there's so much more knowledge and you do these testings and certifications and you put in the work, and I do feel like I like the distinction and whatever those distinctions end up as in the industry, like kind of as the industry grows. But
Sure.
for me, those things matter, just like the glassware matters. And just like I wouldn't, if I had gone to school to be a doctor, I'm going to use the word doctor. I'm going to use PhD after my name because that was something I worked hard to do that
Absolutely.
other people don't work hard to do, and they work hard to do other things and they should be able to use those titles.
It's like it's what you put into it on any level of serving, even dishwashing. Like I'm not. I said this last week, but we are cogs in a big old machine, and we all need each other to make it work. But it's what you put into your day. My dishwasher is one of the most positive people I've ever met. Uh,
Yeah.
he just put a fucking smile on everybody's face all day long. I'm smiling just thinking about it. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
your attitude and what you want to put into it. So if you want to educate yourself, um, go do it. And
Yeah.
there's so many resources out there to do that. We'll help
Yeah.
you.
I totally
Yeah,
agree.
I
It's like
want to learn
bringing
more too. I don't think I
yeah,
know enough yet.
it's like bringing your passion into whatever you're doing. Just bring your heart into it, and
Yes.
it adds so much more value.
Yeah. No, and I think that I think when you're authentically like I'm invested in the product. And like you can work at many different places. I'm still invested in the product, which is beer. And it's not just, oh, like the, stereotypical, oh, I just like beer. And it's no, I don't like any beer. I like the history of it. I like what goes into it. I like the craft of it and the science of it, even though I will never learn it. I love that there is a science behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I put a lot of work into knowing those things so that I can bring the best product to the customer and that I can match that customer up with something that they're going to love every time they come in, no matter where they come to see me. I could be at a beer fest and I'll know exactly what that customer likes because I put in the work to understand everything that goes into it. And so, and that to me is a profession, just like any other profession. Honestly, like I never even thought of the, like when people put the word just in front of it, because those are fighting words. Like if someone were to come to me and be like, you're just a beer tender or you're just a bartender, honestly, I may throw down.
It's mostly
Like you're
people doing
just
it to themselves. It's mostly people are just talking down about themselves. And it's like, that's crazy to me. Like, oh, I'm just a lab tech. I don't, make the beer or anything. Like, what do you mean? No way.
Yeah.
self up. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's like there's entry level jobs that I don't think need professional codes because it's an entry level job. You're going there, you're working at fast food or, and or something. But then, like even in the fast food industry, you may start out as an entry level job in high school and then become a regional manager or, a store manager. And then now you're in a profession. And I think there's no industry that doesn't have your entry level and then your professional
Absolutely.
kind of, positions, and I
And
feel like even in this industry, we should have.
I would even argue that if you skip those entry level positions and you're like, for someone who's switching an industry, I was once in the fitness industry, believe it or not, they're crazy, by the way.
Yeah.
But like completely switched my career. I didn't get a chance to just go into a bartending position. I had to work my way
Right?
up because that's how
Mhm.
you have to, whether you have a good attitude about it or not. And the people who don't aren't forced to do the entry level shit. They do miss a step. So I'm glad that, they've got some sort of entitlement because they didn't have to do things like that. So I'm glad that the place that hired me made me go do that shit because it's not easy work.
Yeah, that whole service industry, everyone should have work in service industry in their developmental year because
What
it
a
builds
world we'd live in if that was the case.
humanity. Absolutely.
And I have a lot of respect for the breweries that require you to have the Cicerone server certification just to start out. And most of them pay for it. Like, and you can start and like they'll help you through it and stuff because even the first level is not easy.
It is challenging, very challenging.
It was challenging, you know,
I thought I
like
was gonna pass it like the first time, and I was like, all right, I'm having a couple beers, and I'm like, oh,
It's the
all
same
right.
kind. You have to rush the
I should
setting
probably
and
take this
go.
test sober. I was a little overconfident there.
really, because I had been in the food and beverage industry for, at that point, like 25 years. So I'm like, a server test? Like, seriously, I can serve any beer. I know this. And I took the test without looking through the classes. And because I was like, oh yeah, I've got this down. No, I didn't. I failed miserably. I'm like, what region of Belgium does this beer come from? What? I'm like, I thought we were talking about like glass washing, but
It is.
no, it is and so I have a lot of respect for the breweries that do require that or do help their servers get that because I feel like they're serious. They're serious about being in the industry. It isn't just about, oh, I'm just going to make beer and hope, make a profit off of it. It isn't about the profitability of the brew. It is about making sure everybody wants to make money. So let me, everybody wants to make money, but it is more about making a quality product also and being a professional in the industry and that to me means something. And I think there's breweries that don't do that and I think they should. And this kind of goes into, I think there's distinctions that I think we've blurred the lines over the years in the industry because there's a bar and we know that, right? There's dive bars and there's, high-end bars and all that. And then there's breweries and then there's brew pubs. And a brew pub is a restaurant that brews beer.
Yes.
That's what a brew pub is. And then there's the tap.
And they also sell at least 25% of their beer sales are on site
Yes.
and can be put 75% be sold into distributions according to our handy dandy notes.
There we go.
Yeah.
And
And I
it's
No, and I think that there needs to be a distinction that there are places that only worry about beer. They are breweries. They are, and that's all that you call them. It's a brewery. They care about beer. They sell beer, whether it's in distribution or in their tap house or any of those
Right.
places in their
They
tap
may or may
room.
not have ice. That's the point. That's when you know
Right.
you're at a brewery.
Yes. They
Don't have
may
Yeah,
ice,
not
I'm
have
not gonna be upset about that because you're a brewery.
I know the beer was
right.
made here or from where they
When
own.
you're a full service restaurant, you got an
Yeah.
ice machine.
You have an ice machine and you're a brew pub and there's nothing wrong with that. But say what it is. You're a brew pub. And then there's a tap room and that is the room in your brewery where you serve the beer. And then there's a tap house and that is a place and they may only have craft beer, but they don't make it on site and no they're not even connected to the people that make the beer. And that's a tap house. And I
Mostly.
think we
Right.
yeah, I think we get those things confused a lot and I think for me, because I see how much work, and we talked about it, how much work goes into being a chemist, be a bioengineer, all of this is not a joke. This is not, a couple guys in a garage in a bathtub or, like that's not what this is. But I do think that there's people who think that way.
Yeah.
And I think especially because I came from the legislative end, there's a lot of legislators that think that way. And they don't see that this is a profession.
Yeah. Hey, you can ask my family. They don't think I'm in a real profession either. So they're like, "Oh, you sell beer for a living? That's cute. Let me know when you get a job in insurance."
Yeah. Oh, I've been at that too. So, like, why don't you just get, like, a real job then? I have a
It
real
is
job.
a real job.
Just 'cause my job is fun and your job sucks doesn't mean I don't have a real job.
That's true.
My life
That's
choices have brought me here. Okay.
I'm living my best life and I'm making money doing it. So, like,
There you
that's on
go.
you. But yeah, and you know what? And here's the thing, like, if it's this is my message to the craft beer industry, like, claim your professionalism. Like, claim it. Say, I'm a brewery and I'm a brewery because that is what my focus is. And, I'm a brew pub because I want to do beer and food at top level. And we have chemists and bioengineers and all that. Like, claim the industry. I think the craft beer industry does a poor job of claiming that this isn't like, oh, everybody in the industry should get real jobs. Like you're just, you're hobbyists. No, we're not hobbyists. Most everybody that's making beer has high level degrees, sometimes multiple degrees.
Right.
And, and I think that that's what we should be. It's not on people to not know that. It's on us for not telling them.
But I think the marketing gets weird. Like, I know sometimes I'll be like, "I want a brewery." And I'll search brewery, and it says brewery in the name, and it's a tap house. And I'm just like, "Wait, this is not what I wanted. Like, I wanted your beer, and you don't have your beer. Like, that doesn't exist. So don't use the word
So yeah, I
brewery."
mean that gets into like white labeling too, which is when you were talking about tap houses earlier, and I was like, well, sometimes, like there are places that say that they have their own beer and it's just a white label beer that is
Yep.
actually
Someone else
another
said.
beer.
Someone else's beer.
And I know that because I used to do that quite frequently when I worked in sales. I'd go to, Mike's Pizza and be like, "Hey, do you want a Mike's Pizza Ale?" Awesome. And
Right.
now we have Mike's Pizza Ale, brought to you by so and so.
Right.
But that's,
Yeah.
a
It's
lot of
someone else's
people,
beer.
they don't know. And then you get into a point like, how much does your bartender know? How much does your bartender or a beer tender or whomever care
Right.
enough to know? Which was kind of
Or
my
the
point
owners
earlier. Like,
themselves
we're
and
the owners.
educate their servers, their beer tenders, their
Mhm.
bartenders in order to, like, because it gets confusing, yeah, and then your Google says brewery and it's a tap house or something, so it just all
Yeah.
starts from there.
And I think owners need to be responsible for hiring professionals too. If you want to be seen as a professional, hire professionals. And I'm not saying that there isn't entry level positions because there is. And I know because I know the story of how Gat got into beer and I know how I got into beer and stuff like that. And we did have to start at the bottom and kind of learn everything before we could even serve a customer a beer. We had to kind of build that up. And and that should be happening in the industry anyways, because again, I think we should claim the professionalism and claim
Mhm.
what goes into it, and the high level of degree and science and everything that goes into making beer. But also, I think that it's up to these smaller breweries and bigger breweries to be like, hey, you don't have the certifications to do this, but we have an entry level position and we'd love to help you learn the rest
Yeah,
and create more professionals in the market.
absolutely.
So
And if you
that's
need help, there's scholarships available too for all of
right.
our Brew Babe girlies out there. You can join Pink Boots and apply for scholarships. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be pointing my little pew pew at you. You can
Pink
apply for scholarships, just even do Cicerone stuff
Yes.
too. So, and there's a bunch of free education out there, free materials out there, and book swaps on beer. And hey, sit down with a brewer sometime. Trust me, they'll tell you all about beer. They love
Well,
talking
Tell you
about
everything.
or a beer nerd. Sit down with a beer nerd. We love a good conversation when it comes to
Okay.
things.
Yeah. If you
Or listen to
honestly
this podcast.
listen to this podcast because
that's
we nerd out
true.
all the time.
Maybe we could do little quizzes, like just like, do you know what this
Full
is?
circle.
You know
Oh,
this. Yeah.
please put in the comments.
Yeah. And then I want to see the craft beer industry, continue to grow. I always say this, I'm team growth, but I think that some of that is on us to grow. Not us like the us three people, because we can only do so much. Sponsor the show so that we can grow and get out to more audiences. But no, I mean, I think that the craft beer industry as a whole needs to claim how professional it is because we know it because we work in it. But I think so few people actually understand how professional the people who brew the beer and even the people who serve the beer know so much. They have gone through so much training, so much certification processes, and they're constantly learning. It is There's no continuing education credits, but we're doing it. We would have more credits than probably any profession in there, because if you're a real beer professional and this is your career, you're learning about your product all the time, just like any other profession. And for me, like, claim that. I wish there was more certifications where you could like have the letters after your name, like in other places, like a CPA or a PA, which is
You'd have a whole
designation in
alphabet
accounting.
back there.
Yeah,
Yeah, Cicerone's really the only one that's doing that for us, right? So
It's
right.
true. One, two, and
Yes,
three.
Cicerone is the only
Four.
one, and that's I wish Cicerone would expand. Or let's do that in the same as brewing, because obviously a cicerone certification is for one thing, but let's have brewing certifications where there's different levels, where I think the
let's have,
profession
you mean
could
like more, they may need more brew school classes in the
more.
Tampa Bay area? If only we knew someone who was going to be working on that in the future.
I know. I mean, maybe it was a plug, but maybe it was foreshadowing.
We love
But
that.
no, I love it. I love what USF is doing. They have one of the few programs that are in a reputable college. This is at a collegiate level for brewing, and I want to see more of that. I know how much work goes into different. Obviously, I have a degree in accounting, so I've seen a lot of different industries, and I don't see the beer industry as being any less professional than any other industry. And I think that we deserve to claim it, and I want more people to do that.
Amen. I like that. Yeah.
So that's my
Anything
soapbox for the
beer
day.
you try that you've never had before is kind of continued education. And when you try that beer and talk to the brewer, like that's a little
Yes.
continued education all the time. So try different styles everywhere you
Yes.
go. And we'll learn something new. There's some unique styles of beer out there that you probably haven't tried.
Oh yeah. No, I love trying new stuff. And I love trying everybody's take on new stuff also. So I love it. I mean, and I don't even drink a lot. I probably only have like 3 beers for a week. I mean, I work in an industry and I probably total maybe average 3 beers a week. Um, I'm not I don't over consume. But I'm intentional. I want to try new things. I want to feel, new flavor profiles, and how the mouthfeel is on it, and how they hit, like how the flavors blend. It's not just like, oh, I like, you know, I don't want to say a corporate name, but I like this light lager.
Blah blah blah. Yeah, and we don't have to use an example. We can
We
all
don't-
imagine one in our beautiful brains. That's
Right.
fine.
It's not just about like, I'm just popping open a cold one at the end of the day. I'm very intentional with what I'm drinking. And I think a lot of people in the industry are, and people don't see that part. They just see it's alcohol or it's beer. And so, that's definitely something that, I wanted to bring to light. I wanted people to be able to hear that it's so much more. We say it's so much more than just the beverage, but even the beer there's so many more facets to it than just alcohol in a glass.
Right, or that beer flavored beer or anything, like, there's so much flavor. It's
Yes.
insane.
You guys are making
Yeah.
me want a beer.
I know.
You're in
I
the
am
right
not.
place.
I have no beer right now. I'm like, yeah, at least you're in a place you can get beer.
That's true.
I am not.
I know a guy. I know a couple guys.
There you go. No.
So okay, where's everybody going to be this week? Where can people see you? Because I do have a couple cool announcements for me. Taylor, where can people see you this week coming up?
This Wednesday, I'll be at Emerald Coast Brewing Company doing astrology readings from 6 to 9 if anyone wants to come. And then I will be working behind the bar Friday and Saturday at Emerald Coast Brewing Company.
All right, Kat, where are you going to be this week? Where can people see you?
I'm going to be rolling through Clearwater Beach in Dunedin. I'm going to be hopping around to a bunch of different places. I definitely want to swing by and say hello to Unrefined when I'm downtown Dunedin in the middle of the week doing my sales gigs.
Oh,
But yeah, I'm planning to go to a little brewery at the end of the day, maybe just to say hi and get a little half pour. And then of course my Friday through Sunday gig. You can find me at Gulfport Brewery downtown. This upcoming weekend we've got the market, so that's really exciting.
fun. That's always
Mhm.
fun. I will be at a few places this week. I will be at Unrefined on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. I will also be at Commerce Brewing on Saturday and Emerald Coast on Friday. So I am all over the map in the Tampa Bay area this week.
We
But
love that for
I
you.
I have an announcement because we've gone over everything and I've made the commitment. I am going to be one of the hosts, the MC for the day for the Girls Ultimate Day Out on June 13th. It is from 10 to 4 at the Pasco County Fairgrounds. This is a huge event for women. We like to bring this podcast, from a woman's perspective in beer, but I am all about empowering women. I know you guys are too, all over the place. This is like the quintessential shopping. It's curated shopping. These are women-owned businesses that you can go and buy stuff. Small businesses. There is also a huge health and wellness aspect of it where you can get facials and massages and acupuncturists and all that
I
stuff.
want to
There's
go.
master classes, yeah, master classes for in women's health, and things like that, and food, and there's going to be lots of fun and prizes and all that. But I will be the guest MC for the day on June 13th. I'm super excited about that and just having an absolutely fun day with all of the badass women that are out there that are going to be coming that day, because I don't care what you do, what industry you're in, you are a badass, and I cannot wait to come to see you on that day. So that is my big announcement for things coming up.
It's exciting.
Congrats, baby. Good for
Thank you.
you.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited about that. It's going to be a super fun day. And I just get to go up there and talk to people and have a good time. So like I don't have to sell nothing. Like
And
I'm just
you and
I
it's
just get
work,
to have fun.
right? That's
Me
all I'm
too.
saying. You get a fun
Better
job because you
life.
earned
Living
it.
my
You worked for
life.
it.
So that's super cool. We also, I know I will be there, and I think Kat is going to try to stop by tomorrow night. Our girl
I will
Jackie
too.
over at Southern Lights. And you're going to come by too. Jackie is, and I will say this, Jackie is a huge supporter of us. I don't know if you guys see it on our YouTube channel
Okay.
and everywhere. She is constantly loving everything that we do and posting comments and all that. So not only do we love Jackie, but she is a super big supporter of ours, which I've loved Jackie before we even had a podcast. So and I know Kat's met her a bunch of times, and you love her too because she was a coworker.
I used to work with her here at Southern Lights, so I'm very excited to see her and the crew as
Yes.
well.
So she, it is the goodbye party for Jackie, but it is only a goodbye for now because she does come back every season.
Every
So
year.
she will be gone for the summer, but
They didn't
what better
throw me a goodbye party, but
it's
that's
to be
fine.
a goodbye party, goodbye for
Annual
now.
goodbye. Yeah.
Yes, the annual goodbye party for Jackie. So we'll be at Southern Lights Brewing tomorrow night. Come out and see us. Say hi to Jackie. Give her a big going away tip as she serves you a beer. I know I'm going to. I know the other girls will. So definitely take care of Jackie because we're not going to be able to see her for a few months. But I will see you girls tomorrow. It is another wonderful episode. I don't even know what number we're on, but we're in double digits. And I love you both dearly. And we will see you all next time.
Cheers.